Hi Marshfields, it's Miss Mills. I am going to bring you a series of videos over the next few weeks that teach you how to use a program called Kodu to design and program your own computer games. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is download Kodu. Now Kodu is free, so you don't need to worry about that. You can download it on a laptop, a desktop, so like the computers we use in school, or on your Xbox, because it's made by Microsoft, okay? So because it's made by Microsoft, we also know that it is definitely safe for you to download it at home, okay? So we're going to search for Kodu, K-O-D-U, and then we're simply going to click on the top website, okay? Kodu Home. You'll know it's the right one because it will come to this page. Now, if you're in year 9, you have actually been making your own computer games with this program this year. So you may want to use the resources section and the worlds section to download tutorials or worlds that you can edit and make your own. Okay, so if what I'm doing seems a bit easy, or actually, you know what, we did that in class, then you can always come to this website to extend your learning, okay? But for the purpose of today's video, we're going to go to Get Kodu. So that's the green button at the top, and if we click on it, it takes us to the Microsoft Store, okay? We're going to click the red download button, and then we're going to choose the middle box that says kodusetup.exe. Okay, so I'm going to click that and I'm going to click next. Okay, now I'm on Google Chrome, so it's going to appear down here for me. If you're on a different internet browser, you may get a bar that comes up along the bottom here in the middle. And when it's downloaded, it'll ask you if you want to run it. And yes, you do. I'm just going to pause this for a moment because obviously it's going to take a few minutes for it to download. Okay, now that's downloaded, I can go down here and I can just click on it. Remember, if you're on a Microsoft browser or Safari or Firefox, you may need to click run. So I'm going to click on it and hopefully it's going to behave itself and do what I want. Okay, yes, right. I can say yes, it's Microsoft, so I'm sure it's okay to download. So I'm just going to click yes. Please be careful when you're downloading things that you do only download things you know are safe. Okay, and now we have, I'm going to go with English, but obviously if you speak a different language and you're more comfortable with that language, please choose that one. We're going to click OK. Okay, now it's wise to always have a read through these. I'm going to scroll through because I've obviously read them. Okay, and I'm going to click I accept the agreement and then next. I'm just going to let it install it in the most logical place, and I'm going to go with all of these. And then I'm going to wait for it to install itself. Again, I'm just going to pause it while it does that because it might take a few minutes. Right, so when it's finished loading and done all its bits, I should get this. Okay, and you can tick launch Kodu if you're ready to go now. And then you just click finish and we are ready to go. Hopefully you've installed Kodu now. This is the game we're going to create. Okay, so it looks quite complicated, but it's actually really quite simple. All you've got to do is shoot the red octopus without shooting your yellow octopus or the flying saucers. Okay, so you've got something called paths, which I'll explain later. You've got your objects, which are your characters, and then we're literally going to do some programming. Let me show you how the game works. Okay, so by pressing A and D, I can turn my character, and then the space bar shoots. Okay, every time I hit a red octopus, I get a point. Okay, it's actually harder than it looks, guys. So when I've hit all 4 octopus, I will have 4 points. So therefore, when I get 4 points, I win. Or in this case, because it's the first level, I go to level 2. Okay. So, yes. Okay, and then it should take me to level 2. Now I've made level 2 a bit harder. There are more octopus that I can't hit. And there are more flying saucers that I'm not allowed to hit. I've made everything move faster. And you can see I've changed the camera view so that instead of top down, we're now in the what we call first person, which is what my little Kodu character is actually seeing, okay? Oh, I hit the wrong colour. As you can see, game over. Okay, so it's very simple. I'm going to show you how to make the first 2 levels over the next few weeks, and then all you're going to do is you're going to see if you can come up with level 3 and how you can make this even harder, but without making it impossible, because remember, if it's impossible, no one will want to play it. Okay, hopefully you've managed to install Kodu now, and this is the screen you'll get after a short video when you open the program. You can go ahead and sign up for an account. To be honest, I just click OK and sign in as a guest. So you won't get resume because you'll be the first time you're opening it. However, I do. I'm going to go to New World, and it's going to give me these options. I'm just starting out, so I'm going to use this flat normal world. Looks a bit like Minecraft. Okay, so some tools you need to know. The first one is this hand, okay? This hand lets you move the world around. So if I left click, so normal click and hold it down, I can drag the world around on my screen, okay? Feel free to pause this video now and have a go at that. I can then, if I use the right click, tilt the world. So I can look down at it, or I can flatten it to see what my game looks like for that side on. Okay, this is quite useful for being able to see things when you're building, especially if you've got hills and things in your world. Okay, the other thing you can do is spin it. So you can tilt it with the right click, but you can also spin it around so that you can work on things that, for example, are behind hills. The last thing you need to know about this hand tool is you can zoom out with the scroll of the mouse wheel, or you can zoom in. On a laptop, it's probably going to be pinching your fingers together like it normally is on the mouse pad. So that's how you move around. The next tool you need to know is this paintbrush here. Okay, this is a funny little paintbrush, and it lets you change the size of the world you're working in and what colour your world is. So this is a little bit too small for my octopus game. So I'm going to click on my paintbrush. I'm going to ignore these shapes here for now. I don't need them because my world just needs to be square. However, I do want to change the colour because octopus live in water. So I'm going to click on these little blocks here, and it's going to bring up this. Now, if I press the down arrow, it changes them to lumps. It's really important that you press that down arrow button on your keyboard in order to change them to lumps. Because when you make a world where you need hills and things, it will make the hills nice and smooth for you. If you don't and you use squares, it will make it look like the tens and unit sticks you use in maths. Your characters won't be able to move around, and it might look a little bit rubbish. So I've changed it to lumps. Now, it's going to put whatever colour I choose, so I can use the scroll of the mouse wheel or the left and right arrows on my keyboard to go through these. I said I wanted blue. I'm going to double click on the blue. Oops. Okay. It's going to put that blue colour I chose wherever that flashing square is in that size. It's not big enough. I need to make it bigger. Guess what? The right arrow on your keyboard makes it bigger, and the left arrow makes it smaller. So I'm going to make my world quite big, and I'm just going to click once with the mouse, and it's put the land in. And that's that bit all done. If I do it wrong, I right click and it disappears. So I'm going to put it back in by normal left click, okay? And then I'm going to go to the object tool. Okay, so the object tool is this little Kodu icon at the bottom here. This allows you to add all the things you can program in your game, like your characters and things, but it also lets you add trees and things to decorate your world, okay? We don't need those at the moment. We just need characters for this game because it's very simple. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you how to add your Kodu. We need a Kodu and we need 5 octopus. So here comes the Kodu. I'm going to click where I want to put him. The Kodu's down the front in my game, so I'm not going to click up the back here. I'm going to click in the middle down the front of my world, and it's going to bring up this wheel. Everything in Kodu works on wheels, okay? So these will become very familiar to you. All I do is I click on the Kodu because that's what I want. Now, for this game, he's a little bit big, and I'd like him to be on the floor because if I use my hand tool, you can see he's not on the floor, which means he might miss the octopus just because he's above it. So I'm going to go back to my object tool. I'm going to right click on Kodu and I'm going to do change size. And this little slidey bar is all I need. So I'm not going to make him tiny because then my game will be really hard. But I am going to make him a decent size. That'll do. Okay. Then I'm going to right click on him again and I'm going to do change height. And this slidey bar, whoop, lets me put him right up. And now, if I use my hand tool again, you'll see that he's on the floor instead. Okay, now I'm probably going to have to do the same with my octopus. Again, my octopus go at the back here, along here, not down here. So I need to click at the back here. I'm going to add, so click, go to my wheel. Now I've got to remember where the octopus is. There it is. Okay. So I'm going to right click on my octopus and I'm going to do change height and I'm going to, again, I'm going to put him on the floor. Okay. I'm just going to move my world down a bit because he's getting in the way there. Okay. And I'm going to make him a little bit smaller as well. So again, right click, change size. Okay. Oh, he's a bit too small now. I think that's probably about right. There we go. Now, if I hover, I can change the colour of things. So I'm going to hover over my octopus and I'm going to make him red because I want to hit that one. I'm going to hover over my Kodu and I'm going to make him yellow. Okay. Now, the next step is actually to program that octopus so that we can copy and paste him rather than making 5 octopus and having to program every single one. So I'm going to show you that now. Actually, before we program the octopus to move around, we need something for him to move around on. And you may have noticed that I had those funny lines all over the place on my game, and then when I pressed play, they disappeared. Those are called paths. Can you see the path tool at the bottom? Lots of little lines with balls in between. The balls are called nodes. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to put some nodes randomly around this back area for my octopus to move around on. I don't want to come very much further forward than here because then they're going to get in the way of my saucers. So I'm going to start here. Okay, I'm going to use my arrow key to make it red. It'll become clear why later. And I'm just going to put that path in. I'm going to make a massive mess. It's not very often I tell you to make a mess, but I want you to make a big mess. Okay, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, about 14 or 15 nodes you need. Okay, all over there, a complete mess. Brilliant. Right, now I'm going to program my octopus so that he moves around on that. So I'm going to right click on my octopus and this time I'm going to choose program at the top. This is my programming area. Each line of code that you write goes on one of these little lines you can see on the screen. It's split into 2 sections. The when is when you want it to happen. So when I press space on my keyboard, or when I press A on my controller, or when my character bumps into another one. That's what happens in that bit. The do is what you want to happen. So when, in the first section, I press the space bar on my keyboard, in the do, it might be shoot a missile. So for my octopus, it's very simple. There are only 2 lines of code my octopus needs. One goes when, we're going to go to more. You see that's that wheel again that I talked about earlier. I'm going to go to always, which is a picture of a little clock. Then I'm going to go to do. Always, so I want it to always move on the path. Can you see the little picture of the path? And what colour did I make my path? That's right, red. Now to make it a little bit harder, I'm going to stick a quickly on there because then they move around quickly. Okay, the second line of code, you may have noticed a bug in my program when I was playing my game. My octopus kept bumping into each other and then they kind of got a little bit stuck. I need to debug that. So I'm going to say, when my octopus bumps into any other octopus, doesn't matter what colour it is, because I haven't said a colour. So when my octopus bumps into another octopus, I'm going to go to the do, and I'm going to say move, and I'm going to say away. Hopefully now they'll bounce off each other. So now I could do 5 octopus and put all those blocks in for all 5. I don't need to do that. I'm going to press escape on my keyboard again. That's in the top left-hand corner. It says ESC. Okay. And I'm going to right click on my octopus and I'm going to copy him because it will copy his programming as well. I'm going to right click where I want to put in the second one and then the third and the fourth. Right. Now the 5th one, I'm going to right click and I'm going to paste. Then I'm going to hover and change him to yellow because he's my friendly octopus. If I shoot my octopus by accident, the game's over. If you now click the play button down here or just press escape again on your keyboard, you should see your octopus moving around. Okay? And as you can see, when they bump into each other, they now move away from each other. Apart from those 3. We might have to debug that later. But you should be able to then play your game. However, I'm going to leave it there for today. See what else you can come up with. See what else you can work out on those programs ready for next week. See you later.